German Chancellor Angela Merkel is calling on the European Union to adopt tougher rules on travellers from outside. She's urging a firmer line to prevent the spread of the highly infectious Delta variant of the coronavirus in the bloc, where people are free to travel across borders. EU members have signed off on a list of 13 countries whose residents are allowed to enter with fewer restrictions. Among those are the US and Australia. Former EU member Britain was excluded due to rising infections linked to the Delta strain. Germany and France require quarantine for the UK travellers, but countries that rely on British tourists, such as Spain and Portugal, do not.
We are obviously concerned about the Delta variant. I will lobby for a more coordinated approach, particularly with regard to entries from regions where virus variants abound. We will discuss vaccinations and our activities in Africa.
For more, let's go to our correspondent Jack Parrock, who's covering the summit in Brussels. Jack, lovely to see you there. Now, first of all, can you give us more details about this COVID-19 certificate, about how does it apply to travellers from outside the bloc?
I can indeed. So I actually got my own COVID-19 EU certificate this morning. Essentially what it does is put in place an app on your phone that will say whether you are fully vaccinated, whether you've had a negative PCR test, or whether you've recovered from COVID-19 in the last 180 days, meaning that you'll have the antibodies. And this is about opening up travel for the summer within the European Union to allow EU citizens or residents to move around the 27 countries, mainly heading south to the Mediterranean, a lot of them, to try and have a summer holiday and to support those tourism industries in Greece, in Spain, in Croatia, etc. As you mentioned, there has been some pressure on external countries, though. German Chancellor Angela Merkel saying that she really wants to make sure there's a coordinated approach, suggesting that keeping quarantine measures in place specifically for countries where the Delta variant is rampant, i.e. the United Kingdom, that's important. And it appears that the French President Emmanuel Macron, during these meetings here in Brussels, is supporting her on that. So we don't know whether there's going to be additional measures announced for countries where the Delta variant is proving prevalent.
All right, now we've seen Ursula von der Leyen's been going from country to country, reviewing their progress on controlling future outbreaks. What specifically are the measures that are being implemented to do that?
Well, her trip, you're right, she's been travelling around the EU's member states, sometimes as many as 3 capitals a day she's been in. Actually, what that's about is the recovery plan. So this was the €750 billion plan that allowed the European Commission to head out onto international markets, use its AAA rating to raise funds in order to support the economies across the EU. The countries had to submit plans to Brussels that were at least, they had certain levels of green funding that they had to do and digital transition funding as part of the recovery. And she's been going around and signing off on them in each of the capitals. It's a show from Brussels to try and support the EU's member states in their economic recovery. As you say, though, she's also had a chance to have one-on-ones with each of those leaders to discuss border reopenings and how they are controlling their COVID-19 recovery.
Can you give us some sort of insights about how much is going to each country? Any details on that front?
Well, there's a percentage detail. It was done on population size, also on how much each country had been hit economically. So countries like Spain and Greece and Portugal that were hit much harder by the pandemic, and their economies hit much harder by the pandemic, they were getting more. The numbers are really, really difficult to deliver. I would need a graph with me to show you exactly who's getting what and how. But there is a sort of complicated set of maths that's put that forward.
All right, that's all the time we have for now, but thank you very much for joining us on the show. Jack Parrock joining us from Brussels.